This is your boy Rainbow Tree back with another video. Today we are going to be reacting to storybooth. Yeah? What? Okay, we are going to be reacting to the one that made 3 days ago. I lost my cousin in a treasure. Now guys, wait. I'll pause it first. I know you want to watch it. I will be eating first, okay? Well, you can eat popcorn or crisp, but I'm going to be eating crisp. Let's go.
This happened December 14th. I was in bed just trying to relax after a long 10-hour shift from work, and I got a text message from my sister saying that our cousin just died. From what I heard, he died in a car crash. Learning more about it when I got to my uncle's house that he was drinking and driving.
No.
Never felt a pain like this in my life before, especially with someone that close.
I got 2 seconds.
I grew up with my cousin, literally, since childhood. Like, he's known me since I was a baby, and he was, like, a little bit older than me. He was 5 years older than me. And we would play together, and growing up, we would play video games together and ride around our bikes around the park and play video games on the computer as well. Like, his family and our family were very, very close. Like, we have lots of love in the family. And what's horrible is that the day before he died, he got to meet his new baby nephew for the first time, and the next day he was just gone. Going over to my uncle's house, it was very heartbreaking because I've always seen him as a strong man, and he just lost his baby. Like, my cousin was the youngest of his family, and it's just hard because you just want to think it's a nightmare and you don't want this to happen, and like, you can't believe that someone you love is gone, and it's just something you don't want to process, something you don't want to believe in. You just wish it was a nightmare and just want to wake up and hope that it doesn't happen. And it's just horrible because I felt so much guilt because I always wanted to reconnect with him ever since he moved to a different state. And, like, yeah, we still love each other. I just wish. I still feel this guilt of not being able to reconnect with him. And it's just hard right now because not only did I lose my grandpa this year, I lost someone who I thought was my older brother. So what I'm trying to say right now is cherish every moment with your family. You'll never know when they're gone in a split second. And of course, don't drink and drive. Just don't.
Oh. Is that all? Well, we already watched that. Let's watch this. I had a bad experience with drugs. Now, don't do drugs.
So this incident happened when I was in high school, when I was a sophomore. My boyfriend at the time, which is my boyfriend still right now, had a weed brownie that he got from that morning from his cousin. And he freaked out because he saw the canine unit in front of the school, and he thought that he was going to be caught. So I said, okay, let's take it. And I was foolish because I have never taken a weed brownie before, so I didn't know how they worked or how they affect you. So we took it, and I took a little less than half, and I felt fine at the moment. I thought it was an instant thing. So we walked the first period, and which was PE, and we were playing tennis when I started feeling a little woozy, and I was laughing at everything. And once first period ended, I went to the girls' locker room, and once I got in there, the whole room started going in circles. I started getting dizzy, and I felt like I was on a boat. And I told my friend, oh my God, I think the brownie hit. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yes. And I couldn't stand straight. I was freaking out. So I walked the second period, and my mouth started getting so dry instantly, as if there was sandpaper in my mouth. I sat down in my second period, and again, the whole room started going around and around, and in slow motion. My teacher walked up to me in slow motion, and he said, are you okay? And I said, no, can I please go to the nurse? I was just freaking out on the way. once I got to the nurse, they sat me down and gave me ice cold water. And my arm just jerked, and I accidentally threw the water on the floor, and the nurses got mad, and I started crying. And they asked me, what do you feel? Have you taken any medication? And me, being in not the right state of mind, said, I took a weed brownie this morning. So they freaked out, and they called the vice principal in, and the vice principal was mad. She had a stern look on her face, and I don't remember anything she told me to this day. But all I remember was holding her hand because I thought I was going to fall off the 2-foot chair I was sitting on. I just remember seeing myself out of my body. Once my mom got there to pick me up, she didn't know what was going on. And once she found out, she was so mad. And on the way home, I was crying and sobbing, and still everything was going in slow motion. Me and my grandma at the time were in a fight, and once I got home, I just ran to her and hugged her and cried and said, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I'm sorry. And the whole day, I just felt the same way I did in the morning. Do I regret it? Yes, at school. But do I regret it? No, because if it wasn't for that brownie, I probably would have still not stuck to my grandma, and that helped rekindle our relationship. So please don't do drugs, kids, especially at school, because you would have a really bad reaction like I did.
Okay, my second packet. We're going to watch the last one. Shall I be doing for? I'll be doing
I never really liked my parents. We butted heads on
Shall I?
from political to
In my next one.
I consider myself an atheist and very liberal.
I'm
And
gay.
I'm also unapologetically gay. My parents were rather conservative Muslims and are also extremely homophobic. I never was really public about my disagreements with them because I still wanted a roof over my head, food on the table, and money in my pocket. Because of that, I was able to forge a good but very artificial relationship with my parents. They saw me as practically perfect, a good and trusting kid. Both of my parents had very noticeable flaws, however. My mom liked to hold grudges, was quick to judge, and loved to enforce gender roles. My mom adamantly believed that boys were supposed to do yard work and take out the trash, and that girls only belonged in the kitchen and were predestined to become subservient Muslim housewives. My father was so invested in his work that he neglected to form any bonds with his children. They would constantly belittle my 4 sisters by not allowing them to have friends outside of school, have phones, participate in extracurricular activities, nor drive when they reached the legal age of 16. And then there's me. A couple of years ago, I tried coming out to them, not once, but twice. The first time, they begged me to date girls because they took my coming out as a threat. The second time, I proceeded to fire a barrage of insults and false homophobic stereotypes about gay people, ranging from them being mentally ill to calling it a phase or choice. They threatened to completely disown me and assured that I won't succeed in life if I didn't, quote-unquote, fix myself. A fog of depression consumed me. I could only see myself being forever indebted to my parents. So I had to continue the facade of the straight Muslim boy in the house. I didn't think much of it at the time, but after telling my friends, they convinced me I was in a nearly abusive relationship with my family, that I had to get far away from them to live my life and discover my full potential. It was at this moment that I took a much harsher stance against my parents, seeing them as my prison wardens instead of my loved ones. So I thought, where was the farthest I could get without them having a harsh impact on me, while I could still be successful and thrive as a young gay? After doing some research, I could finally conclude that California would be the best place for me. A thriving LGBT community, lots of racial diversity and acceptance, and on the complete opposite side of the country. So I applied to a few schools there in hopes that I would get accepted. And sure enough, I did get into one of them, UCLA. It truly was one of the greatest moments of my life. I felt like a livable future was finally possible. My parents were hesitant at first because of the distance, but happy to have me go, because they trusted I could succeed at a highly acclaimed school in Los Angeles. After moving there, I have never been happier to be part of a diverse community with amazing friends, support, and education. Although I have to come home every now and then to keep up my fake relationship, I am so relieved to be so strongly dissociated from that sinkhole I once called home. My next hope is that my sisters see and believe the truth about my parents and follow my footsteps and escape, so that they can live happy lives too.
Okay, guys. One more, okay? Oh, fine.
Throughout my school years, I was always a good and responsible student. I completed my work on time and studied well for almost all the tests. But one morning, I opened my eyes due to the loud sound coming from my cell phone. I received a text from my close friend who asked me, "Did you study for the English quiz today?" And I was terrified. I jumped out of my bed immediately. I was thinking of what I should do since I did not have any time left to prepare for the test. And then an idea popped in my head and began taking notes, but not on paper. Instead, on the palms of both of my hands, I wrote everything we had to learn for the test. The test was taking place during first period. I took my seat, saw the test, and cringed. During the test, I tried my best not to have any eye contact with the teacher or my classmates, and just focused on the assignment. But I couldn't help myself, as my mind almost went blank. Hands were shaking as I was trying to read my notes, but at the same time, hide them. I kept looking at the clock, taking every few seconds, but time just seemed to be frozen. After the long-lasting 30 minutes had passed, the teacher said, "Hands on your papers." I was so relieved that I wasn't caught, and then suddenly a feeling of a cool rain washing away all the weight on my shoulders. When everyone had done their work, Miss Smith continued the lesson, explaining a new topic. I innocently raised my hand to ask a question, without noticing that the palm of my hand had all the notes for the quiz, and that's when I felt as if I'm about to explode. Miss Smith screamed, "What's in your hand?" And she called me to her front desk. I was shaking. The teacher questioned me what was in my hand, and I did not want to tell her at first. I kept my hands in the pockets of my jeans and pretended it was something else. But she insisted on having a look at it herself, and that's when she found out that I cheated. At that exact moment, I just wanted to crawl into a small box and hide from it all. To teach me a lesson, she gave me a lunch duty, meaning I had to stay in the school cafeteria for exactly a week. So every lunchtime I had to go to the cafeteria and not eat, but clean after all the others. And it was terrible, especially when people would stare at me and ask, "How did you get that?" And I didn't know what to say because it was quite embarrassing. And after this incident, I became a lot more careful and thoughtful of my assignments.
Oh my god, we totally jumped off the cliff, had to jump all the way ashore because the dog takes us all the way to the end.